Good morning, Unity on the Bay. Good morning, Faye. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to be up here today. My name is TATIANA ALBERNAS, and I just love assisting Reverend Juan and Reverend Chris on Sunday mornings. Thank you. And today especially because I stole their headset. Look, I feel like Janet Jackson. Okay, so a couple of announcements to let you guys know about. If you are a person that struggles with finding time to meditate, we invite you to block off 1 hour for yourself each week and join us for our Wednesday meditation service that we like to call the Om Hour. It's at 7 p.m. every Wednesday and includes soft music, meditation, and a short positive message. So go ahead and put it on your calendar, repeating 7 p.m. every Wednesday. You can attend on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. Next, we'd like to remind you that Unity on the Bay has a one-on-one spiritual support program which offers congregants compassionate care, support, and encouragement. Our facilitators assist individuals through prayer and empathic listening in developing a growing understanding and appreciation for the presence, comfort, and guidance of God. If you are going through a rough patch, please reach out to us. More information is available on our website under the Support tab at unityonthebay.org. And lastly, listen to this. Attempting the mastery of fear is useless. In fact, it asserts the power of fear by the very assumption that it need to be mastered. The true resolution rests entirely on mastery through love. If what I just read resonates with you, then it's time you explore A Course in Miracles. We just so happen to have classes weekly that will help you navigate this great book. Having a teacher help you through the course is very beneficial. Please visit our website and look for A Course in Miracles. And now it is my pleasure to present Reverend Chris.
Good morning, Unity on the Bay, and welcome to your positive path for spiritual living. We are so grateful to have you here with us this morning, wanting you to know that we are practicing social distance for our own health and well-being, and we know that you are doing the same. If this is your first or second Unity on the Bay experience, I want to invite you to take note of the comments section below and take advantage of the opportunity to learn more about the Unity on the Bay community and allow us to get to know you just a little bit better. We believe that you're in the right place at the right time by divine appointment, and we're deeply grateful for your participation today. I want to encourage you to get involved in the service, comment in the section below, and know that we'll be interacting with you in that way. We believe in Unity that there's tremendous power in the spoken word, and I want to encourage you now to join me as together we affirm our statement for building our future. We give thanks that Unity on the Bay's right and perfect home is manifesting under the guidance of God. Here in our spiritual community, everything that we do and all that we are is founded upon our vision and our mission. Again, I invite you to exercise the power of your spoken word. Be aware of the energy that you're sending forth as we affirm these words together. We are an inclusive community serving as a catalyst for spiritual awakening, evolution, and action. Our vision is humanity inspired to its divinity. Let's take a moment now to close our eyes, if that's possible for you, and let that be an outward gesture of our willingness to sink deeply into the spiritual reality of this present moment. And always in that realization, we are able to fully and freely remember the truth of who we are. Sons, daughters, creations of the Most High. One with one another and with the infinite intelligence, light, and love that is God. This morning, as we gather in this place at this time, we are willing to allow all illusions of separation to leave us, to depart from us, that we may more fully recognize the one life, the one love, the one heart of which we are all a part. God is absolute good, everywhere present, and the whole of God is existing in its entirety at every point in space at the same time. A mind-boggling statement, but one that surely our spirit can grasp together right now. All of God is present as you. All of God is present as me. all of God is present as those we love, those we serve, and those who serve us. What a beautiful name we share, dear friends. Unity. Let us this morning, throughout this experience that we share, acknowledge the unity that has been before all time and space began, and take our steps into this day in a way that allows us to be the brilliant and bright, individualized expressions of beauty, of harmony, of compassion, of understanding, and of endless faith. All this we pray in the name, in the nature, and through the power of the Christ presence that we are. Thank you, God. Amen.
Good morning, Unity. This is one of our favorite sing-along songs, so I hope that from the comfort of your home, you'll sing along with me as we sing Sweet, Sweet Spirit. Imagine the choir with me up here. There's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place, and I know that it's the Spirit of my God. There are sweet expressions on each face, and I know that it's the presence of our God. Sweet Holy Spirit, sweet Heavenly Dove, stay right here with us, filling us with your love. And for these blessings, we lift our hearts with praise. Without a doubt, we'll know that we have been revived when we shall leave this place. Sweet Holy Spirit, sweet Heavenly Dove, stay right here with us, filling us with your love. And for these blessings, we lift our hearts with praise. Without a doubt, we'll know that we have been revived when we shall leave this place.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Anthony. It is now time for the Daily Word. And this person that's reading the Daily Word is near and dear to my heart. She's an incredible mother, a wonderful sister, a daughter, a friend, a first responder, and she puts up with me. Representing all the incredible nurses and doctors and first responders at Jackson Memorial Hospital, it is truly an honor and a pleasure to introduce my wife, Teresa Albernas.
Thank you, Faye, and I want to thank Unity for providing me this opportunity to represent the healthcare professionals that I work with at Jackson Memorial Hospital. It's truly an honor to be a part of this profession, and I'm very happy to represent all my nursing colleagues and all my healthcare professionals today. And I'm going to read the Daily Word. Faith. I invest my faith only in possibilities for good. The parable of the talents in the Gospel of Matthew tells the story of a wealthy man entrusting sums of money to 3 of his servants before leaving on a journey. When the man returns, he praises and rewards the 2 servants who, through wise investments, have doubled the funds entrusted to them. A 3rd servant who, acting in fear, hid the money entrusted to him and receives no reward. The divine faculty of faith that is part of my spiritual inheritance is more valuable than money. I invest my faith wisely by believing and trusting that possibilities for good are present, even where good has not yet manifested, and I act on that belief. My positively directed faith brings rich rewards in consciousness. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Matthew 25:21. And on behalf of healthcare professionals again, thank you very much and stay safe, and we will all be together soon.
Great job, Teresa, and she was super nervous. It is now time for our meditation, led by Reverend Juan. At this time, I'd like to remind you about a couple different ways how you can send your prayer intentions our way. You can leave a message on our comment section, or you can also reach out to us at unityonthebay.org/prayer. Before that, we're going to have a song led by our own Dale Stein and Anthony Alvarez. We're going to put the lyrics up on the screen for you so you can follow along.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God.
Good morning. Let's take a moment now, right here, right now, to go within. I invite you to take a deep breath. And if you feel comfortable, to gently close your eyes, to relax into this moment, this holy, sacred instant. For it is a moment of resting and going deeper into the truth of our being. It is a moment of allowing ourselves to let go of the busyness of the week, of any stress that we may feel. Just give yourself permission here and now to fully move into an experience of awareness. An experience of knowing yourself as part of the great connection and energy of life. allowing yourself to celebrate that which you are. Divine expression of good. The embodiment of God's wisdom, God's wholeness. Take another deep breath. Here in this loving, sacred space, you are safe. Safe to explore just how deep and expansive the love that is within you and as you is. The ways in which divine peace move through and as you, blessing every cell of your body. Feeling as your heart radiates your truth. You are love. Allowing the mind to become more still. Right here, right now, God's wisdom and guidance, inspiration is bringing you into a full awareness of your glory. You are glorious. You shine brightly. You radiate all that God is. Take another deep breath. Right here, right now, you're truly open and receptive to that which becomes clearer for you today. And so I invite you now, as we move into some moments in the silence, to ask your higher self, that divinity that is within you and as you, your divine identity. Ask yourself, what do I need to know? What do I need to hear right now? What is the inner message for me this morning? Now, take a deep breath and simply listen and be guided. we are grateful. Grateful for the ways in which we have been guided, and grateful for the strength and the courage, the trust, the faith in what has been revealed to us. In this moment of clarity, in this moment of connection, in this moment of truly knowing what we are as the expressions of good. So it is, as we let it be. Thank you, sweet Spirit. Amen and amen.
This song that I'm about to sing and that Anthony is going to be playing, it was written by David Friedman, whose birthday was yesterday, so happy birthday, David. But David is not only an amazing composer, author, but he's also a large part of the Unity community. And his husband is Sean Moniger, who is a Unity minister at Unity of Norwalk, and also he's on staff at Unity of New York. So he and Sean are both a major part of the Unity family. But the song is called Help Is on the Way, and when David first composed it, it was at the height of the AIDS crisis in the last century. And it was performed and has been performed by so many people and at countless fundraisers, and it was the theme song for many benefits for the AIDS crisis. And I feel the song is making a resurgence now at this particular moment in time because of what we are experiencing as a human family. So I just wanted to put that in your mind so that it can be a subtext as you hear the song. Help is on the way. Don't give up the ship, even when you feel it's sinking and you don't know what to do. Don't give up your dream, even though you may be thinking it never will come true. Life has its own ideas of how things come about, and if you just hang in there, life is gonna work it out. Help is on the way from places you don't know about today, from friends you may not have met yet. Believe me when I say I know help is on the way. You don't have to know where the path you're on is leading. You just have to walk along, dreaming as you go, asking for the things you're needing. You never can go wrong if you have faith that things are happening as they should, and just believe each step you take is leading you to something good. Help is on the way from places you don't know about today, from friends you may not have met yet. Believe me when I say I know help is on the way. So open your heart, open your mind. No matter how you've tried and failed, tomorrow you could turn and find that help is on the way from places you don't know about today, from friends you may not have met yet. Believe me when I say I know help is on the way. Help is on the way. Help is on the way.
What a beautiful song. How magnificently it was sung. And how true those words are, dear friends. Help is on the way, not only in a moment like this, or the moments that we've been sharing of late, but always and forever. God is our present help.
And Chris, before I continue, I got to say, great outfit.
Thank you, and I'd like to just echo that compliment right back to you, Reverend Juan.
I mentioned to Faye, I think, or Dale earlier this morning, this is just our dad uniform. So, so I'm really excited about what we're doing today. We asked the congregation, we asked you to send in questions that you would like for Chris and I to answer. Now, we called it Stump the Minister. I'm hoping that it's not so much stumping, but just inquiring of the ministers today. But we're really grateful. We were only able to choose a few of them because of time, but Chris and I are going to make sure that we get to respond to each of you that sent in a question in another form.
So we actually have not seen these questions yet. They're going to be sprung on us spontaneously. We have them in our hands, but we do not know what you asked. But we'll take them one at a time. This reminds me a little bit of experience I had years ago. Something used to be called a pop quiz. So let's see how it rolls. Here's our first question. This is coming from our good friend, Frank Ferrara. How can I be more of Frank the Christ rather than Frank the mindless one? That is such a frank question coming from Frank. How can I be, in essence, how can all of us be more of the Christ rather than the mindless one? Well, this really is what the spiritual journey is all about, is a re-identification. So I first of all want to commend Frank. I want to commend you for recognizing that there is a difference between operating out of the consciousness of the Christ and operating out of the mindless one, or the one that is not conscious of their spiritual identity. And this is a process that takes some time in most cases, because all of us have been, to some degree or another, heavily conditioned by the world of time and space and the formulas, the concepts, the ideas that we have been given. All of this has made us into an expression that perhaps in some ways, if not often many ways, does not really reflect accurately the manner in which God has created us. So what I would say is, the way we do this is by beginning to relate more to the spiritual nature of ourselves, this Christ nature of ourselves, than to relate to the self that we have come to realize ourselves to be. The way that we can tell the difference is the manner in which we feel and what happens when we feel that. Always when we're aligned with the Christ presence, and this is a practice attained through prayer, through meditation. Always, when we are aligned with that, we're going to feel good, we're going to feel right, we're going to feel in alignment, and we're going to feel empowered. When we're dealing with what Frank is referring to as the mindless one, it's the one that is the programmed self of our being, then we can be sure we're not going to feel so good. We're going to feel a sense of inadequacy, a sense of lack or limitation, restraint in terms of how we're able to live our lives with confidence and self-esteem. So it's largely a matter of staying in touch with our emotional nature. How am I feeling? And then being able to take that feeling and trace it to a thought within us that is creating that feeling, and that thus is creating our experience of reality. So it's a gradual process, Frank, as you well know, of releasing ourselves from the imprisonment of the definition the world has given to us and freeing ourselves in the definition that God has given us.
Well, and I love all those practices and the guidance that you're sharing, Chris. I would also add that for me, it's about changing and shifting the ways in which we're seeing ourselves, even in that question. Frank, you can never be more of Frank the Christ. You are Frank the Christ, regardless of whether you're aware of it or not. And so to be able to shift our language to just recognize that truth, we are always Frank the Christ, Juan the Christ, Faye the Christ, your name and the Christ. You can never be separate from that. And so the more that we can remember that, and the more that we can be aware of when we may be expressing that awareness or not, I think is really valuable.
Absolutely. Hey, Juan, look, I'm Faye.
All right. Oh, boy, I think we've got a Stump the Minister question here. And, of course, it has to be from our board chair, Eddie Dominguez. The bust of what New Thought pioneer is in the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery. So I'm not sure whether I would call him a New Thought, somebody that is part of the lineage of New Thought. I want to say Walt Whitman, maybe, as a transcendentalist. He was instrumental in just opening up, especially here in the United States, this awareness of a God that's within and a God that we are always connected with. So maybe that one?
It would be a logical choice, but I actually have no idea. So I just want you to know, Eddie, you can take great pleasure and pride, as I know you will, in realizing that you may have at least stumped one of the two ministers, but works for me, Juan,
Right,
Walt Whitman.
yeah. Thanks, Eddie. I'm going to just take the next one then, just to see if I can redeem myself here. And oh boy, it's from Romulus. Is Jesus ever coming back to save us all? I would answer that, since I have to answer it on the spot, that Jesus never went away, right? Like the energy that is Jesus, the philosophy, the nature that is Jesus the Christ never went away and is with us, and we are always able to connect and be aware of that energy. And it is that energy that I believe moves us actually to a greater awareness and a greater sense of who we are, so that we may save ourselves from the decisions that may lead us in the wrong direction or may not be as healthy for us. And so I think that's really how Jesus saves me. And I love that Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, they were, I remember reading that Charles Fillmore would talk about, if you're ever stumped or if you're ever looking for a way to figure out something to do, to pray to Jesus, to that energy that Jesus was, and just ask that Jesus, as that wisdom, showed up to guide us and to lead us.
Absolutely. I think that it never left. Jesus never left. That presence, I completely agree, still lives with us, and perhaps even more powerfully than it lived with us when it was embodied in the man Jesus. Because what we're really talking about here is Christ consciousness, and the Christ consciousness returns to us whenever we open ourselves to this understanding that we are created in God's image and likeness, and that is always available. And I'll tell you, I am one that still does, from time to time, on a regular basis, to be honest, pray to Jesus. And I always get great answers, not necessarily the ones I was expecting, but they're always great.
And I love the teaching of unity that says, like, the second coming of Christ is actually the moment that we become aware of our Christ nature. And then the third coming of Christ, which has been written about, and I think Deepak Chopra had a great book about that, is when we can truly embody then that awareness.
All right, Andrea Luke. How do I know when messages are from God's Spirit and not ego? Good question, Andrea, and thank you for asking. This really is similar, I think, to the question that Frank was asking earlier. The way that you can tell when something is a message from your own divine center, for me, is when you feel it, when you resonate with it at the deepest core of your being, without hesitation, without doubt, without reservation. You can tell, you can know when you know. When it's coming from ego, I always say ego is the loudest voice, and usually the first voice you hear in your mind. Why? Because it's the conditioned voice, and it always has something to prove to you, unlike the voice of the divine, which has nothing to prove, nothing to validate. The voice of spirit is always still and small, and I've never experienced it to give me advice or counsel in a way that was loud or intrusive. The voice of spirit is the voice of the silence. And so when you go beyond, through prayer, through meditation, when you go beyond this world of words, you receive what I love, the term that Joel Goldsmith, the great American metaphysician and mystic, said, you receive an impartation. And this doesn't necessarily come, in fact, it seldom comes through words. It comes through just an intuitive hit that says, that's the answer. And it's so still, it's so quiet, it's so easy that it never takes an effort on your part to be able to embrace it. Unlike the forceful voice that the ego always tries to communicate with, of demanding, of insisting, and above all, of wanting to prove that it is right or superior to another person.
I love that, and I don't necessarily, I haven't read The Course in Miracles, the full book, but I've gotten the, the Reader's Digest version of it, and that it can be summarized in the question of, is this coming from love or is this coming from fear, right? And the choice between those two. And so for me, I think when I'm in the question, I am reminded, I think it was Edwin Gaines who came many, many years ago when I first came to Unity and just said, sometimes it's just as easy as putting your hand on your heart and asking yourself that question. So, for example, if I'm receiving some guide, or I have some guidance and I want to do something, putting my hand on my heart and just taking a deep breath and asking myself, is this coming from love? Is this coming from fear? And just feel into your heart which one felt true, and then go with that. All right, well, you guys really did want to stump us ministers here. So Ruiz Monroy sent this one in as, what is the purpose of this pandemic? So I think a lot of us have been in that question, right? Like, why is this happening? What are the reasons why we're having to deal or move through this individually and collectively? I personally would ask, what does it mean to you? And not why did it happen, but what is the meaning that I can give to my life in this moment as I'm moving through this? Like, what is the added meaning that it can give to my life? I know that I don't know if I can explain why the pandemic actually happened, but I can explain how the ways in which I'm relating to it has added meaning to my life. Meaning I've personally had to take a step back, become more still, pause, be at home more with my family and connect with my family in those ways, figure out more ways of connecting with our community. Actually, this pandemic has moved us as Unity on the Bay and me individually to do things that were things that I wanted and had a vision for myself doing, and I just hadn't moved through whatever limitation or whatever was keeping me from doing that. And so, again, it's not about why it happened, but what meaning am I giving it now, and how am I able to add value to my life and to the ways in which I know myself to be this expression of the Christ, and I know the truth of humanity in greater and more expansive ways.
I love working with this guy and that incredible genius that indwells you, because I couldn't have said it better. But being who I am, I'll give it a stab.
You'll try.
Because I think it's true not only of the pandemic, but of everything. Personally, I believe this world experience is neutral in nature, and that we're the ones that are always projecting the meaning out onto everything. And it's important to realize that, I think. There's not necessarily a predetermined meaning or purpose for anything. And we, as individualized creators made in the image and likeness of Creator God, are given the charge to decide, what does this mean for me? So I'm in complete accord with that. What does this mean for me? And then in the meaning that I have prescribed to it, what are the actions I can take to help me and my world become better, more refined, and continue in our evolutionary process of becoming more and more and more? So that's the real question to me. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to me? And then each of us taking that individual meaning and bringing it into a collective whole that moves humanity forward.
You didn't say it better. It was just...
No.
It was equal. It was equal.
Isn't it great to be egoless?
I'm always the expression of the Christ. I may not necessarily have been aware of it in that moment.
Well, we're in alignment on that point too, as you well know of me.
I think you have the next question, Chris.
Okay, here we go. This is from D. Tucci. Does everyone have the opportunity to go to heaven, or only Catholics, Christians? Wow. I love that question, and I will refrain from being judgmental about any religion or religiosity that's on the face of the planet. In Unity, we don't believe that heaven is an experience that is confined to one group or another. We believe that heaven is a state of consciousness. It's a state of consciousness that is achieved when we align ourselves with the divinity within us. And every individual on the face of this planet has the opportunity to establish that state of consciousness within them and then to live in it and to live from it. And this is one of the things I love the most. I could actually preach all morning on this, but I won't. It's one of the things I love the most about Unity, is that we are not here to create lines of demarcation, separation, or divisiveness. We believe that every individual, regardless of their religious inclination, every individual is made equally in the heart of God and has the ability to experience heaven or hell, depending on the content of their consciousness, depending on the thoughts, the feelings that are permeating their mind and heart, and how they interpret the experiences that happen to you. And I'm grateful for that aspect, deeply grateful for that aspect of the Unity way of life. All people created in the image and the likeness of God. All people ultimately destined for heaven.
This is also one of the things that I love about Unity, because for me, being able to open ourselves up to recognizing that it's not about being exclusionary, right? Like, the mere fact that humans, myself included at times, have thought that some people will get into heaven and some people won't, has been the source of the most hellish type of events in personal lives and in the history of humanity, right? Like this idea that there are these criterias to get into this place called heaven after, once we transition, has been the source of wars, has been the source of feeling better than other people and it being okay to make your dogma somebody else's dogma. And even in my own personal life, this idea of what I have to do in order to get to heaven has created stress, anxiety, has created guilt and shame, which to me is hell on earth. And so the moment that we can free ourselves from this idea that there's something that we have to do in order to get into the pearly gates, or through the pearly gates, is the moment that then I can start to recognize the ways in which I can live heaven here and now, by letting go of that guilt, the shame, by letting go of feeling better than somebody else or being in competition with other people to see who gets in, right? Like it's so freeing actually to be able to have the idea that more importantly than where we go after we transition is how are we living in this life, from a place of heaven or from a place of hell. And I choose heaven, and I'm so grateful that I have so many people around me that choose heaven with me and that remind me when I get into some of that fear and some of that anxiety.
You think about it, it's kind of the perfect setup for control. And that is that you need to play by these rules. And if you don't play by these rules, there's going to be consequences. However, you will not be able to experience those consequences until you're out of the game in another dimension that you cannot predict, that you cannot understand. So it's really like the ultimate fear and control tool, and one that I would like to stay as far away from as possible.
And I think that's the evolution of spirituality and religion, because even some of these faith communities that I've been a part of, or faith traditions, are already expanding their definition of who gets in and who doesn't. I trust that eventually we'll get to the place of what we believe, which is all of us have the ability to live heaven here and now. So with that, I hope we've done your question some justice.
As do I. And again, if you did submit a question, we appreciate it, and we're going to respond to all of them in one way or another. But thank you for participating in this. I'm really grateful. Actually, it was Reverend Juan that came up with this idea, bringing it back, I think, from an experience at Unity Village. And it was really the perfect timing for this because we've been looking for ways that we could more completely engage our community in the Sunday morning experience. So thank you so much for being the fuel that fostered our conversation this morning, and it's just been a real joy.
And that fuels the things that we're going to be thinking about and meditating on for the next couple of days, because I know that it opens me up to even more questions on what I believe, how truly do I believe it, and is there something deeper in that? So I just appreciate and love being questioned in this way. So, well, thank you, everyone, for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the key to a successful life is asking the right question, and you certainly did that this morning. Thanks. God bless you. Be well. We love you.
Thank you, Reverend Juan. Thank you, Reverend Chris. Stump the Reverends. How many pairs of shoes does Faye have? Yeah, they'll never be able to answer that one. Too many, according to my wife. What an incredible segment. And I mean, they still were able to just relay the message that we needed to hear. So thank you, thank you, thank you. What an incredible, incredible message. I love you guys. So it is now time for our prosperity opportunity. We are so blessed to belong to the spiritual community and to be spiritually fed every Sunday. We especially appreciate your giving during these challenging times. And here's a couple of ways that you can give today. You can go via text and text UOTB to 73256. That's UOTB to 73256. We'll put that information up on the screen for you, or you can visit us at unityonthebay.org. We'll also put that on the screen. We thank you for your gift. Let's bless these gifts together. Divine love that I am blesses all that I give and all that I receive. It is now time to bless the children. Let's get the children up. Let's get the children up. And if you have four-legged children, that's okay too. Yes. And I want to give a special shout out to a couple of the kids in our youth and family ministry. Raul, we miss you, we love you. Amari, Jalea, Valentina, hi honey, Miranda, and George, we love you guys. All right, by now the kids should be up. Make sure you can also put their picture in the comment section. We'd love to see them as well. So let's get these hands together. Children, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you, and we see you doing great things. I love those kids. This broadcast is being aired on Sunday, May 24th. If you are watching us for the first or second time, we'd love to get to know you better and help you know us better. So just text NEW, N-E-W, to 305-573-9191. That's NEW to 305-573-9191. If you'd like us to pray with you, we're going to put up a link in the comments section with more information on how you can submit a prayer intentions. Our prayer chaplains will answer all the prayer intentions. Now join us as Dale leads us in the prayer for protection.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Please join us as we sing together the peace song.